Hello everyone, welcome to Lighthouse Stamping with Lorraine. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Vancouver, Washington. Thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to be playing with Petal Park, and so let me show you what we're going to be making. This is the card we're making, a nice birthday card. It's a little belly band, and it opens up just like this. I think it's very pretty. And we seal it back up. It just folds down and the two flaps fold over and the belly band goes back on. So we're going to do the stamping first. So we need some scrap paper. And then we need, I didn't write any of the dimensions down on Post-its today. Sorry. It's one of those days. So this piece we're starting with is 7.5 by 5 1/4. And we will be cutting this in a few minutes, but after we stamp. So we're going to grab the stamps here. Now, we've talked about, I know I've talked about putting stamps on, especially when they're two-step stamping, where you lay them or let them relax on the table and then they shall line up. This one is so large that sometimes the second one doesn't line up properly, and I'm going to show you how to fix that problem today. Because I know mine don't line up properly, and I've heard from other people that they don't. We're using garden green. And I'm going to stamp this one, about like this, over in this corner here. So we're going to do all the outsides first. And I'm going to turn this one, just turning them different ways. I know it won't turn out just like the first one. They aren't meant to. And we'll put this one about that. And we're still not done with this. We have one more to stamp, and that is going to be on this piece of paper here. Because we'll be die cutting this. Well, actually punching. You could die cut if you want to use dies. I'm just going to put that there. Doesn't matter where it is. We'll get the punch where we need to be in a few minutes. Okay, so this one technically, if you let it rest, it should line up. And I'm almost guaranteed that this one has not. Nope, it's not. So the easiest way to do the second layer, if it's not lining up for you, stamp your first piece. Then set this on here and move this to line up all of your leaves, or whatever it happens to be. I'm sure there's other sets that do this. I've had other things in the past. But get everybody where you want them. Then pick it up. And I've got a piece of scratch paper here somewhere, because we're going to stamp off the garden green. Line up. Get my head out of here. Like that. That lines up pretty good. And then we'll do these three. Do have to move a little closer to me so I can see what I'm doing. Try to keep my head out. And the reason I'm stamping off on the mat is because I want the same consistency of ink going through the whole project. And by doing it on the mat, it gives you the same. Now, I'm off a little bit there. It doesn't matter. It's fine. That's just because I didn't get it lined up right. But it doesn't have to be perfect. Just do your best. Because I can tell you, the person receiving this card will not mind that a couple flowers are a little off. Or leaves in this case. Just like that. Done with that piece of paper, and we are done with the garden green. Then we're going to come in with the flowers. And again, they're two-step. These they always line up. They don't need to, other than if you don't get them on the block properly, which I didn't. I was hanging off. So we're going to use Berry Burst and Bubble Bath for the flowers. And we're going to do the outline first. And if you line up and go see where everybody is in your thing, you will see that there is a spot. There's a little notch right there. And if you line up that big, large flower right there, the little ones all come into play right there. And you see exactly where they're going. And yes, I know one of these is off the side, but that's okay. And this one should go like this. And then we have to do this one more time. I have another little scrap here. Just like that. Now we are not done with the blue Berry Burst, but we'll come back to that in a little while. So we have a few things to do first. And then the Bubble Bath. And they line up pretty good. Like that. And 3 more. And this one here. Oop, turn it around. Just like that. Then there's some little clusters of flowers. Like I said, we're going to need the berry again. So I want to take the outline of the berry burst for the flowers. And I'm just going to scatter a few of these around in here. Fill in a couple of the open areas. Get one off to the side here. I want to go clear to the edge on this paper. I think we'll tuck one up in there. And one more here. That looks pretty good. And we'll get the Bubble Bath. And get this turned the right way. Oh, still don't have it turned the right way. There we go. Get it going the right direction here. Like I said, if it doesn't line up perfectly, it doesn't matter. It still looks very pretty. Now we are done with the Bubble Bath. Last one, I want to put a little bit of Berry Burst. There's a little bit of dottage in here because there's already green dottage. And so I thought I would like to stagger a little bit of Berry Burst around this. Not a lot. You can put as little or as a lot as you want. You could put Bubble Bath in there if you wanted, but I did when I was testing one, and it didn't really show up that much, and so I decided to just skip that. Let's see, a little one right here. Like I said, I'm just putting a few little dots in. Now there is one more thing to stamp, and that is our verse. But we're going to wait until we cut this page so we can line it up in the center. The verse is coming from, because there is no verses with Petal Park. The verse I'm using is coming from Cheerful Daises, Wishing You the Brightest Birthday. So we'll get that one in just a minute. So now we're done with the stamping. It's time to do some cutting of this paper. So it was 7.5 inches across. So on the 7-inch time, if you put it at 4 inches and cut, you have your 4 inches, and this one's 3.5, and those are the 2 panels you need for the card. We'll just set this aside for just a second, and now we'll go ahead and put the verse in. This way you guarantee that your verse is in the center. And I forgot to do the envelope. Someone didn't remind me. So we'll do that right now. Just like that. So those are 2 panels for the card. And let's do this real fast. This is, I'm just putting a little batch of flowers in the center there. And my bubble bath. You can put something else on here if you wanted, you know, make the card your own. Oop. There we go. There's our nice little envelope. Okay, so we have the envelope, we have the 2 inside panels. The other pieces we stamped are for the belly band, and we will come to that in a little bit. So let's make the base of our card and get the base of the card put together. This is a piece of bubble bath that is 11 by 5.5. Excuse me one moment. It may be fall, but the day I'm filming this, it's, I don't know, 2 in the afternoon, and it's pushing 80, so it's a little warm. So, anyhow, on the 11-inch side, we are going to score this at 1 1/4. I said all the dimensions are below, so don't worry about it if you don't get them all written down. 5 1/2. And extend the arm. 9 1/4. Make sure I got the right measurement. So that's the scoring for this. And I know I grabbed a lot of things out to film, but I didn't grab a bone folder. So we'll grab it now. So I like to start with the middle one. You're going to fold it this way, opposite of a normal card. Okay? The one here goes at the, it's going to go this way. And then this one is going to fold this way. Now, if you can start anywhere you want. But the goal is, the biggest one's here, the biggest panel, and these are like this, so it opens this way. Okay? So, I went and got paper, and actually the inspiration for this card came from the paper. It came from this paper. This is in the Delightfully Eclectic paper pack. It's a jumbo paper pack. It's pretty pink on the back too, bubble bath. But this was the paper that made me decide to use the Petal Park set to make this card. And so we're going to be using that. And then this is another piece from that same set. It's got little triangles, and it's got little clips of coral and strawberries on the other side. So this is a very fun pack of paper. So let's go start building this card up. And so we're going to put the panels in. Ones we stamped first. So if you had to make a bunch of these cards, you could stamp a whole bunch of these panels and then put the card together. You didn't have to do one at a time. And if you had some other paper, you could use other paper and other colors. But I like this color. I thought it was very pretty. Okay. So we have, let's go over some sizes here. We have 2 of the flowered ones. They're all 5 1/4 high. And like I said, all the dimensions are going to be listed below. These are 1 inch across. The one that is the shapes is, of course, 5 1/4 by 1 1/2. And this one is 3 1/2 by 5 1/4. So the 1/2 inch side goes here. This is, these have 1/4 inch borders. As you know, I bounce around depending on my card and what I want. Oop. That one goes there. One of the 1 inch go over here. So when you have this open and displaying it, the whole inside panel is covered. So when it's displayed like this, This whole sheet is covered. Okay? So then if we fold this back, this panel here where the little triangles are, this is where this one goes. And you could put one here if you wanted, but no one's going to see that much of it, because if it's closed, it's that way, and if it's up, you know, standing upright, it's this way. So that's why I didn't go for that one. And then the last one goes on this panel here. Okay, so that's the base of our card, and it folds up like that. Now it's time to build a belly band. You're going to need a piece of bubble bath. This is 10 inches by 1 inch high. And then we need the pieces we stamped earlier, and we need a piece of bubble bath. First, we're going to take our decorative circle punch. Now you could do this with dies too. I just decided to do all this card with punches. So here is our decorative circle. Then I grabbed a 2-inch circle punch, and I may have to trim because I want to get this one section. I need my snips. I didn't grab them out of my bag. There, hang on for a moment. Sorry about that. I want to trim off a little bit over here so I can get my punch in here. Because we're not punching out the whole thing. You have to selectively punch. You know, this area is where the big flower goes. And here's where the 2 small flowers go. And so I want to sort of get, so I've got, I'm not going to put them exactly there. And you're not going to get it all. But something like that. You punch out any section you want. It's up to you. And I'm grabbing my piercing mat. My piercing tool here, because I'm going to need it in a moment. Okay, and the next thing we need is our build a petal punch. And oops, I need a little extension for this. I'm going to be punching my fingers. Take a Post-it, stick a Post-it on so you have a handle. Hang on for a moment. I am at a weird predicament. I did not stamp this, so my punch will not go into where it's supposed to. Sometimes you have to trim your paper when you do that. There we go. Like I said, sometimes you just have to make a little adjustment when you're punching if you don't get it exactly lined up right. But a handle's very handy. There's our flowers, but I think one of them still has a piece of Post-it on it, so we'll grab that off. Okay, so I want to give a little shape to my flowers. You can do it one of 2 ways. You can put it on here, put the lid on your, I use my glue, and just push this way. Or you can take your hand and do it this way and cup it in your hand. I prefer cupping in my hand, but I know some people have told me it's very awkward for them to do that, so use this. You know, it's whatever works for you. I just want to give them a little bit of shape. We are going to glue this into our decorative circle. And it really doesn't matter which direction it's going at this point. Just like that. And then I'm going to grab some dimensionals. I didn't get everything all unpacked. I was out of class, so all my stuff was still in my work bin. And so I'm putting I'd say dimensional glue dot. So I'm going to put one right about there. And you can go straight to your glue dots normally. If anybody's been watching me for any time, you know that I have very, very sticky glue dots, and I keep on ripping my paper on them. So I've been taking the glue dots to them. I'm going to put the big one there. Don't worry, I know there's a space here, but we're going to take care of that. And then another one for this one. Like that. In that open spot. Okay. Now, I decided I wanted a little bow on mine, and this is the Sheer Ribbon Dual Combat. There's Lemon Lolly, Azure Afternoon, and Bubble Bath ribbon in it with a little silver in it. It's very pretty. And I just want a little bow. So I'm just going to do bunny ears, I think. Sometimes bunny ears, only if you tie them the right way. Sometimes when I do bunny ears, I can get smaller bows. Oh, I'm going to be one of these days, bow tying issues. You know, I just tied like a half dozen bows with no problem. There we go. Just a little more on this side. Just even it out a little bit. That looks pretty good. Yeah. I'm going to put my pin right back before the cats come in here and get a hold of the pin or the ribbon. And I think we're going to tuck this bow right in about here with a glue dot. Actually got that off center, so guess what? We're going to grab one more. Using a second glue dot on a bow has never hurt a thing. Yeah, we'll tuck that right up there, like that. And since we're still decorating this, let's go ahead and put the bling on. And I'm using the basic rhinestones because I call them my diamonds. And I'm going to put a big one in the center here, and a medium one here, and a little one right here. Keeping it simple. And you can fluff these all up if you want. So that's the part of our belly band. So here's our belly band. This is our 10 inches by 1 inch piece. You can make your belly band bigger or smaller. I know I wanted to hook over here, so I'm going a little further this direction. Not much, just a little bit off center. Fold this side over gently. Try to keep it straight. And then gently fold this side over. I know the thing just flipped under. That's okay. And then just go up and down a little bit to make sure that you have, sort of hold it in the center, and make sure you have a little give so you can move it. So that's where that's going to go. Now I want this piece here. If you put it on this side, you got to put this clear over here to cover it. If you flip it and go this way, that's where closer where I want this. So I'm going to flip it. It doesn't matter which end goes. Put the one that you want to be able to cover up. I'll just put a little glue here. Right on the belly band. Not too much. You don't want it leaking out. Hold it for just a second. You don't want popping with the spring on this. It'll pop it open. Yeah, it should do it. See how the spring, it's got its own built-in spring. Okay, and then I'm going to grab some dimensionals. Someone's asked me about the rustling on my dimensionals. I keep my dimensionals in a plastic bag. I've got all of them in here, different sizes and shapes. That way, I have them all handy at one time. So, this is going to go on just like this. You can turn it whatever way you want. I want mine not like that. Bow off a little bit. So I want it to go right there. So we know that it's going to hit right here. So that means the dimensionals need to go right there in the center. Now I'm going to use 3. Putting them on the belly band so that I don't get glue anywhere or dimensionals anywhere I don't want them. You can get it placed where you want it. Give it a little push. And then your card has a belly band and it opens up. And it has an envelope if I find it. So that's the card today. Like I said, it stands up. Very beautiful. So I hope you give this a try. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. If you'd like to purchase any of these items, please go to my online store and help out my channel grow. So everyone have a nice day, and I will see you on Wednesday. Goodbye.